Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're learning something new while improving our English naturally. Instead of boring grammar rules, we use real stories, ideas, and conversations that help you think in English, not just study it. So relax, listen carefully, and let your English grow step by step, just like real life. Let's begin. There's a man named Carlos. He wakes up every morning at 5:30, not because someone tells him to, not because his boss wants him early. He just wakes up. He makes coffee, sits down, and before the world is even awake, he has already decided what his day is going to look like. Carlos is not a billionaire. He's not famous. But he's comfortable. He has time for his family. He doesn't feel rushed. He doesn't feel behind. And when you sit with him, you feel something strange. Like he's the only person in the world who is never in a hurry but always gets things done. Now, across the city from Carlos, there's another man. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus is always busy, always running somewhere, always on his phone. He says things like, "I have no time." He says, "I'm so tired." He works hard, really hard, but somehow at the end of the year, he feels like he's in the same place he was 12 months ago. Two men, both working, but one of them is moving forward and one is just moving. What is the difference? That's what we're talking about today. Let's start with something simple. Rich people, and when I say rich, I don't just mean money. I mean people who have built good lives, who have freedom, who have options. These people think about time differently than most of us. Most of us think time is something that happens to us. The day comes, things happen, we react, and then we go to sleep. Tomorrow, same thing. But people who are successful think time is something they use on purpose every single day. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. And this is probably the most important thing you'll hear today. So stay with me. Being busy means you're doing a lot of things. Being productive means you're doing the right things. You can be busy all day and get nothing important done. Trust me, we've all had those days. You're running, answering messages, doing tasks, helping people, fixing small problems, and then it's 9 p.m. and you think, wait, what did I actually do today? That is the trap. And most people live their entire lives in that trap. Now, here's a question. Why do rich people seem to have more time? Some people think it's because they have assistants, or money, or help at home. And yes, sometimes that's true. But that's not the beginning of the story. That's the result. First comes the mindset. Then comes the resources. Before Carlos had anyone helping him, he was already doing one simple thing that most people don't do. He was deciding the night before what the next day was going to look like. Not in a complicated way, not with a big system, just a simple question. What are the 3 things I need to do tomorrow that actually matter? Not 15 things. Not a list so long it makes you tired just reading it. 3 things. The important ones. And here's the key. He did those 3 things first. Before emails, before phone calls, before anyone could come to him with their problems. Because here's what nobody tells you. Other people's urgency is not your priority. Think about your typical morning. You wake up, and almost immediately you check your phone. Messages, notifications, maybe some news. Someone needs something from you. Someone has a question. Someone is upset about something. And just like that, you're reacting. You're not starting your day. You're responding to everybody else's day. Rich people protect their mornings. Many of them don't look at their phones for the first hour or two, some even longer. Not because they don't care, but because they know if you start your day in reaction mode, you'll spend the whole day in reaction mode. And you won't choose what's important. Other people will choose for you. This sounds simple, and it is. But simple is not the same as easy. Let me tell you about something called the 80/20 rule. Maybe you've heard of it. It says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. Think about that. If you have 10 tasks today, 2 of them, just 2, are responsible for most of what you actually achieve. The other 8 keep you busy. They feel like work, but they don't move the needle much. Rich people are really good at finding those 2 things, and they spend most of their energy there. Poor time managers spend energy equally on everything. They treat the urgent small task the same way they treat the big important one. And at the end of the day, they wonder why they're exhausted, but not ahead. Here's a small exercise. Tomorrow morning, before you start working, write down everything you need to do. Then ask yourself honestly, if I could only do one of these things today, which one would make the biggest difference to my life or my work? Do that one first. Then ask again. Now which one? Do that second. Everything else is a bonus. Now let's talk about something that people don't like to hear, and that is the word no. Rich people say no a lot. Most of us are afraid to say no. We think it's rude. We think people will not like us. We think we'll miss an opportunity. So we say yes to everything, every meeting, every favor, every small request, and then we have no time for the things that actually matter to us. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, once said that the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Think about that. It's not about doing more. It's about being very, very careful about what you agree to do. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. There's no free space in a day. It's always a trade. So the question is, are you trading your time for the right things? Here's another thing. Rich people don't try to do everything themselves. This is a big one. Especially if you're the kind of person who thinks, if I want it done right, I have to do it myself. That thinking makes sense when you're starting out, but it becomes a trap because there are only 24 hours in a day, and you are only one person. Successful people learn something important. Your time has value. And if a task costs you more time than it's worth, if someone else can do it, or if it's just not the best use of your energy, then doing it yourself is actually expensive. It's costing you something, even if no money is leaving your pocket. This doesn't mean you need to hire people immediately. It starts with a simple question. Is this the best use of my time right now? Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes it's no. And when it's no, you find another way. Let me go back to Carlos for a moment. There was a period in his life, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, when he was drowning. Business problems, family stress, not enough money, not enough time. He felt like he was always behind. One evening, he sat down and made a list. Not a to-do list, a different kind of list. He wrote down all the things he was spending his time on every week, and then he wrote next to each one, does this bring me closer to what I want, or is it just noise? He was honest, really honest. And what he found surprised him. A lot of his time was going to things that felt important, but weren't. Long conversations that went nowhere. Tasks that kept him busy, but didn't really matter. Things he was doing out of habit, not because they helped him. he stopped doing a lot of those things. And that was the beginning. It wasn't a magic plan. It wasn't some big secret. He just looked clearly at where his time was going and started pointing it in a better direction. There's something else rich people understand that most people don't, and it's about energy, not just time. Time is the same for everyone. 24 hours. That's it. Nobody gets more. But energy can go up and down. And when your energy is high, you can do in 2 hours what might take 5 hours when you're tired. So smart people don't just protect their time, they protect their energy. They sleep, not as a luxury, as a strategy. They exercise. They eat in a way that keeps them functional. They take breaks. They don't try to work 18 hours and feel proud of it. Because tired work is slow work. And slow, tired work usually means more mistakes, more fixing, more time wasted. The person who sleeps 7 hours and works 8 hours of focused, energized work will almost always beat the person who sleeps 5 hours and struggles through 12 hours of tired work. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's part of it. One more thing that is very underrated. And this is something that costs people years of their lives without them even realizing. It's called clarity. Most people don't know exactly what they want. They have a general feeling. I want to be successful. I want more money. I want a better life. But it's blurry. It's not specific. And when you don't know exactly where you're going, every direction feels possible. So you move a little this way, a little that way, and you never really build momentum in one direction. Rich people, people who have built something, usually have very clear answers to these questions. What am I working toward? What does success look like for me specifically? What kind of life do I want in 5 years? When you're clear, decisions become easier. Because you just ask, does this help me get there or not? If yes, you do it. If not, you don't waste time on it. Clarity is like a GPS. Without it, you're just driving and hoping. So let's bring it all back together. Because I want you to leave with something real. It's not that rich people have some secret talent that you don't have. It's not that they were born special or lucky. Some were, but most weren't. What they have is a different relationship with time. They see it as the most valuable thing they own. More valuable than money. Because money, if you lose it, you can make it back. Time, once it's gone, it's gone. They protect it. They point it carefully. They say no to the wrong things so they can say yes to the right ones. They focus on the few things that actually move their lives forward instead of spending energy on everything equally. They rest because they know tired people make bad decisions and waste more time fixing mistakes. And maybe, most importantly, they decide. They don't wait for life to tell them what to do with their day. They decide for themselves. That's what Carlos does at 5, 30 inches the morning with his coffee. He decides. That's the whole thing. That's the secret that isn't really a secret. You have the same 24 hours. The question is just, who is in charge of them? Because if you don't decide how your time is used, don't worry. Someone else will decide for you. Your phone will decide. Your boss will decide. Your habits will decide. Or you can. Start small. Tonight, before you sleep, just write down 3 things. 3 things that would make tomorrow a good day. Not 20 things. 3. And tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, do one of them. That's it. That's the beginning. And if you keep doing that, day after day, something will start to happen. You'll feel less like life is happening to you and more like you're happening to life. And that feeling, that's what people are really talking about when they say someone is successful.